And also a brief reminder that we do have customer information in the slides, so please do not vocalize them. And then we are live. So let's get started on the questions. Let me take a look at the document. Fabian, would you like to vocalize your question?
Yeah, hi, Mac. Thanks for the great presentation. I really enjoyed reading it. And also, before I actually dug into my question, thank you very much for all the hard work in the quality department. Jenny has helped a lot at Geo, and I really appreciate everything that you are doing. So thanks for that. So I had one question. On slide 8, you talk a little bit about some difficulties that customers may sort of see at scale when they use self-managed GitLab instances and the robustness with upgrades. And so I saw that you had an Epic link to this that deals with sort of upgrade testing and performance testing, but most of the items in there seem to be dealing with performance of upgrades. I'm also interested in learning and understanding what your thoughts are on actually testing for upgrade robustness, as in customers may attempt to upgrade and may fail for various reasons, and that obviously may have some impact on their production systems. So that's my question.
Cool. I can give an intro and I'll pass it on to Tanya, who's leading this effort. So we are constrained with effort. We are forced to work smart. So we are killing two birds in one stone with upgrading implicitly and also testing performance. Now, that is only one facet. The other facet is the combination of installation architectures that our self-managed customers have. We can test all of them, which is why the reference architecture comes into play. So there's two streams of work: testing and also designing the architecture, having them be on the architecture, and those are the ones that we fully test and tell our customers, hey, we have vetted this architecture. So those are the two facets in play. Tanya, if you want to chime in into further details, what your thoughts are.
Yeah. So that was a great overview. We are doing this a kind of a multi-prong effort, and we can add more information into that epic. We are testing, like Mike said, the performance is definitely a viewpoint of ours. But I know that Jenny is also addressing no downtime upgrades and being able to test those, making sure that that's robust. That's our main focus right now as far as the no downtime upgrade part. Jenny, is there anything you want to add there about additional areas that you're looking at?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah, so it is definitely a focus, and I can add more information into the epic so that it's contained there and easy to see.
Thank you so much for the reply.
Great, thank you. Christopher, I believe you're next regarding the GDK.
Yeah, I don't remember if you and I have talked about this, Mech, but super excited to see us work on GDK grooming, because I think it's a super important part of it. Just want to reference that we've had this discussion in the past couple of weeks around GDK. Just want to see your thoughts of, if we're grooming, are we grooming for mainly problems that are consistent, or getting started problems, or both, and whether we should be considering some type of either Q&A session associated with that to surface these kinds of bugs. Because I think a number of folks, at least, Stan basically ran a Q&A session, and he had 10 folks show up with 10 different problems, which points to we definitely need to groom, but also kind of points to we should make sure we're surfacing these somehow.
Yes, so it's the circle of life. Thanks, Tanya, for that term. This effort actually came up from a discussion with me and Stan, and the issues that are identified here are the ones that are blocking people from onboarding, or it's a persistent bug that's affecting productivity. The grooming is set up between me, Stan, and enlisting other folks. We are going to start out this week to start, and then for next week, we may move the time around so more people can join. But to answer your question, it is designed to immediately fix the hardship and getting set up. And this is hopefully a temporary thing. We have one new hire in engineering productivity, Albert, who may be taking this on half of his time, and then we work on staffing later on to have full-time engineers looking at the GDK. But yeah, that's kind of where we are at. Stan has been setting up in Q&A sessions monthly. I expect that to still continue, and the feedback from that will feed into this grooming.
Yeah, and just one free advertisement. If any engineering manager or engineer is interested in helping with that, Mech and I are more than willing to accept help in this area as far as getting new folks onboarded up to speed, because it's obviously a critical part of our work.
Thank you, Christopher. I do not have anything in 3 and 4. Fabian, would you like to go to steer with you?
Yeah, I didn't want to come in with the second question right after, so I left some space. So one question that I had is, I know we're working on reference architectures, and I think this is a really cool idea, also for sort of testability, and I really like that. But I was wondering, do we actually have data available from our customers, so we know, like at this point with, let's say, 1,000 users, 40% of our customers deploy in that specific way, or they follow a specific pattern, so that if we, that when we design these reference architectures, we are not designing something that we think is great, but something that's actually relatively close to what our customers are already doing.
Great question. So we are, in fact, actually doing this, and we are in the process of adding an MR to the handbook on the playbook, or say the information that we ask customers. This is an output of the self-managed scalability working group, where we've come up with a few logs on usage patterns. I think Giddily, workhorse, production logs, and there's another log I forgot. But essentially, we're looking at endpoints and response times of their environments, and also the type of data that we ask. Is it mostly binary? Is it binary data or text data? So they're checking in JPEGs, which is a really cognitive load on the storage. And then we can talk about either NFS or SSD later afterwards. But yes, we are having those discussions. And if you look at the link in the slides, and I will not vocalize our customer names, we have outreach issues to those 2 big name customers to have this information in. And I believe that that should be more clear given this week. Does that answer the question?
I've linked the merge requests that Mike mentioned into the document. If anyone has any input on things that we can add to the playbook right now, it's just an initial set of steps, but they're not step 2, step 3, additional things that we can do. We'd love you to contribute. So if you have any ideas there, please help.
All right, thank you very much. That is great to hear. And I will have a look at the MR to see if I can sneak in Geo. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you. David, you, sir.
Thanks. All right. Thanks a lot for the clear presentation and for adding a feature on community contributions as well. I know that we've been talking about how to improve the way we tackle the backlog. I know that your team has been doing quite a lot of work in either planning or implementing improvements to the tooling. What are your thoughts on what we can do beyond that, as in how we can work better with merge request coaches, or perhaps more specifically with reviewers across the engineering team?
So I think there are multiple streams of work in different functions that are moving towards this. One is increasing the ratio of maintainers that the development department is working on. I think I have some of these in the backlog, but we would want to open up our Slack. There's a MR Coach Slack channel that I believe the plan was to link to Gitter and have it be an open Slack channel with Gitter, so people can just click join and then interact with the team and MR coaches. That's one facet that we were looking at as part of Contribute. Actually, I think Ben and I and Ray were huddling together. We did not have the chance to investigate this yet. It goes in line with like Mocha.js, where there's a button on the project page. You click one button, really easy one, click sign in, and then you get to interact with the engineers right away and the maintainers. That's one facet. I think automation still needs to be improved. There's no clear line of, I don't want to say ownership, but like the standby effect unintentionally is there because we have so many MRs in so many facets of the application. And when you randomly ask one maintainer to review, he or she might not have the best knowledge to like, hey, this is not my area of expertise. So that link isn't there yet. So there's still some hey, I can't review this. Can someone else take it on? I think adding a flavor of maintainer of what specific area or which group do you belong to might help here to review that type of MR. Right now, it's an iteration of the repo roulette. I do think the single repo will help. I think there's one less project to manage going forward, and we do need to actually make more attention to the satellite projects. What I mean by that is Runner, Workhorse, Giddily. I think this has been on each teams that own them to look at it, but having automation, triaging automation and notification in those areas would help as well. That's my brain dump.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. There was a second part of the question, which is somehow related. For the specifically for the now new GitLab single repo, how can we make sure that, given the fact that contributions to the old GitLab C repo merge requests were closed, how can we best still track those contributions after essentially the backlog is being cleared somehow?
I do not have ground truth for this. Kyle or Remy, if you're on the call, I think you're involved with the single repo. Do you have any insights into those areas?
I mean, we still apply those labels that we can use to help track and identify, but it's something that we need to take a closer look at, I'll say. So
David,
thank you for the feedback, David.
David, is there confusion you're seeing right now that if they had an MR open to the old repo, by old I mean the FOSS renamed one, they are unclear of the path forward, how to carry on that MR? Is that what you're seeing?
I don't really have any data on this, but I mean, I do have the feeling that essentially, since it's so new, contributors will get confused at least the first weeks. And I know that I know Kyle, you and Ray have been talking about this. I know that there's an ongoing conversation, but yeah, I think it would be a good point to start looking at this. And we, from our side, from the community relations team, we're more than happy to help.
I see. Let me link you to the issue. There's an issue called final changes for single repo, and there are some community contributions being active there already. I'll cross-link you to that, and then if there are improvement items, let's work with the delivery team to make sure it's improved. And I may have cut off somebody, so please vocalize if I did.
It wasn't me, so yeah, but that sounds good.
Great. I will pause for questions.
So I'll just ask one. What items in the backlog, which of the 3 items in the backlog do you see as kind of like most important to help continue kind of the growth in our department?
You're talking about the last slide, correct?
Yeah, sorry, slide 18.
You're saying the growth in our department or the most important thing?
How about most important thing?
Okay. I would actually say the middle one, which is guarantee rollback path for self-managed. I think we're testing upgrades right now. We also need to test rollback because unknown unknowns, if they upgrade and they run into something, we don't want them to be dead in the water. And this came up with the self-managed working group as well. Change management. We can't expect the customer to run as fast as we are. Sometimes they have 2 or 3 months lead time just to provision something. And the fallback plan to that is to roll back, so they're not sitting in the water. So downgrade testing, for that, for folks on the call, is also important. And I'll move that to the top of the list next time we have the GC. So it's clear. Thank you for the question. There was also a comment in chat from Jamie. The comfort of a rollback option is great. Yes, absolutely. Cool. If there are no more questions, I will end the meeting for all. And if you have any questions, #QualityChannel, please don't be shy, come and ask questions or mention me directly. And then see you at the next group conversation and the company call. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.